In this video tutorial, I'm going to explain to you how we can insert our hatches, floor tiles, these floor finishing keys, the texts, and the different drops in different areas. So let's begin. Okay, the first thing that we will need to do is create our tile hatching. So for this one, what I like to do is simply make a rectangle, type REC for rectangle, then press enter, and click it on the corner, leave it there. Make another rectangle in the inside of the wet area and just bring it there. Right. After that, for the porches, I'll make another rectangle and put it there. Similarly, for the front, I'll do the same. Now what I'll do is just turn off some of the layers so that I can retrace all the lines that I just placed. That's for the porch. This is for the entire building. This is for the wet area. And this is for the rear porch. Now what I'll do is simply move this out of the way. And I'll start to do my hatches. So the first hatch that I'm going to place here, the hatch will be for wet areas. So we type H for hatch, and press enter. Then we click on settings in the command bar, and then we click on inherit properties. Now since that is a wet area, I'm going to use this note, which is a selected 600 mm by 600 mm non-slip wet area floor tile. We'll just select that hatch, and then we'll insert it there like so. Similarly, for the dry areas and bedrooms and the other things, we'll type H for hatch, then press enter. Then we will do the same, repeat the same steps. Inherit properties, then we'll select our standard floor tiles for dry area. And then we'll just hatch it like so. Now what we can do is simply either copy this hatch and just paste it over there, because that's our wet area and porch tile. So it has to be a non-slip. And then you can adjust it using the hot grips. Or what you can do is simply just take a base point, copy this, paste it over here, select your object to be, use the trimming tool, and then select these two, then type TR for trim and trim it off. Like so. So now that we have our wet area hatches, what we can do is just select the hatches, not the outlines. Use one of the base points. In this case, I'll use this one, and just place them there accordingly. Select all the hatches and just type DR for draw order and send them back. Type RE for regenerate and press enter, and there you go. So now what we will do is we'll place our floor finishing legends or the keys. So we just take, first we need to know what scale we are using. So in this case, we'll just go to the previously set up. And we'll just scale it up. You can either use this to recall your scale. Mine is at 1:80, or you can just select this drop down arrow and then select on whichever scale you think is right. Lock your viewport and go to model. Change your text, change your scale here. This will help you a lot when you're doing the annotations. And what you can do is, firstly, you can just adjust some of the tiles, or you can leave them. It's completely up to you. Now what we can do is, we can start to place our floor finishing legend. Now we'll click on this, then we'll go to properties. Then we see what scale it's at. So it's already at a scale of 1:80. We do not need to change the scale. So what we'll do is we'll type CO for copy, then press enter. Then select this and M2P, mirror to point into the middle of any area that we wish. Type M2P, press enter, select one point and diagonally select the other point to easily locate your center. You can similarly do this. You can similarly do it for all. So I'll just do this very quickly. And there you go. You can do the same for the wet areas. However, you'll have to keep on entering M2P, but it's better to have it in a consistent manner. And what you can do now is, oh, hold on, I just forgot one more. Let me just do one more. There you go. Now what you can do is simply reflect the key. So for this tile, we'll change all these to number 1, and for the wet areas, we'll put them to number 2. So when anyone refers to this drawing, what they will see first is that, okay, that's a number 1. So let's go to the notes at the bottom. So number 1 on the drawing reflects to note number 1 on this flow finishes legend, which says selected 600 mm by 600 mm non-slip tile ceramic floor tiles. Now that's a typo. So what you can do is just delete the tile. And there you go. Now there are several square meter rates that we can also enter here. So since this is an expensive range that I'm using, I'll use a $75 per square meter VIP insulation, adhesive, and everything else in the tile trims and all. So I'm using the expensive kind here. And what you can do is just go ahead and change everything like so. Now this will be a 2 because it's a wet area. This will be a 1. 2. There are several ways you can use. I'm showing you all these for examples, but there are other shortcuts that you can also use, which you think is right. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. At the end of the day, it's completely up to you. So what we can do is we can make some of the things consistent here. So that they all line up properly and they look neat and tidy, like so. Now the next thing we'll start to add is our drop down texts. So we just copy the text. First check your text scale. As you can see, it's at an annotative scale of 1:100. Then what you can do is just add the scale and select whichever scale you have set up down here for your annotations. And there you go. You have to do that once. Now what we can do is just copy this and paste it over here above that text, above this call out. I'll just move this down slightly so that they look neat, or you can just leave it up, whichever you think is right. Now the next thing I'll do is copy this text. This is our indicator as to what area that actually is. We'll double click on this, Control all, select all, and then we'll type front porch. Now I have left my texts in italics, but you can also change it. If you wish to make it look straight, you can make it look straight. So now that you can see it's cascading neatly. So 50 mm floor drop means that this, the elevation of this floor will be 50 mm less than this floor. Similarly, we can copy this and we can paste them with all the floor dropping areas. Now you don't have to do it for this because it's obvious that the floor drop, the wet area will be actually be having a floor plane, excuse me. You can paste this wherever you think is right. I'll just leave it there for now. And what we can do is just do one more here. Paste it there and rotate it if you think it does not fit. If it does not rotate that way, the rotation for this has been locked. So what we can do is just leave it out for now, and I'll show you in the next video as to how we can correct the rotation. So the next thing that we'll do is copy all of the texts. Copy one of the texts and just place them accordingly. So we're going to call this bedroom 1. Bedroom 1. Then we will copy this and paste it over here, and we'll call this a bedroom 2. If it indents that way, you can just bring your mouse here and drag it outwards, then double click to lock it up. And similarly, we can go ahead for the rest. You can paste one here. Now this is our bathroom, so we'll just call it a shower. Or you can also write short form for it, shower, like so. Then what we'll do is copy and paste, and this is our water closet to the washroom area, so we can just say a WC. And this can be our vanity area. So what we can do is just move this text downwards slightly so that it matches over there, and move it sideways if you think it's disturbing a block. You can copy this, bring it down here, and we can say this is a vanity. Just double click on this to make it straight like that. And then similarly we can go ahead for the rest. Now if that is the front porch, then what we can do is copy this text. Copy this text and say that this is a rear porch. So since it's neatly cascading over here, I'll copy it with a base point, CO for copy, and select the center of this callout and just bring and drop it to the center of this callout. So it looks neat and consistent. And then we'll call it rear porch. Now let's try to keep everything in line. And we can edit the texts. Or we can say lounge. Now this is our kitchen. And we can copy this text, place it over here, and we can call this our dining area. And just adjust it accordingly. So now that you can see that you have placed your texts accordingly, and you have also given your floor drops. The next thing that we will do over here is we will insert the actual blocks that make this floor plan look like an actual floor. So what we can do is just copy these from another floor plan, reference floor plan that I placed here. I'll take this wardrobe, this bed, along with this bedside unit, send them into a group by typing G for group, then bring these up. and just ungroup them and then rotate them, right? And similarly, we can just mirror these 2 points. Do not worry about the text. As they will come up when you hit draw order. Now we can add the wardrobe on this outer edge. And similarly, you can just mirror these two. And you can move them out into their actual location, like so. Now you might be thinking why I'm not explaining about the commands that I'm using, because I've already done them in the other videos. So if you wish to understand any of the commands, there are separate videos. You can also follow them. Now if you think that your texts are actually being blocked, or you do not wish to have your text placed there, what you can do is simply select those texts and just move them out of the way. Like so. Now some people prefer to have their bed in the center of either these or these windows, so in this case we'll leave it there, or you can just move them out. If you think that these beds are too small, what you can do is just select on it, type SC for scale, then click on this scale, then type R for a reference, click a point, click this point and just enlarge your scale slightly so that it looks practical. But for this case, I leave it because it looks okay. Our bedroom's done and it's quite spacious. These are all scaled blocks, so I know that this bedroom is quite spacious. Now what we can do is simply insert our washroom in the wet area layouts. So we'll just go to my reference drawing over here and we'll start to bring in all these things that are important. Group them so that you don't have several lines to deal with all the time. Paste them up there, then ungroup them. And just move all these cabinets and their benches to wherever you prefer. So I'll keep the vanity over here. As you can see that this is too small. So let me just get this into the correct orientation, that for yes. And we can move these into their actual places. Now for me, a standard vanity is usually 700 mm by 400 mm. So what I'll do is I'll draw my X construction line, then I'll offset it to 700 mm wide. And there you go. So my vanity is there. Now this is quite a big area because it has been intended to be used as an internal laundry as well. Like I said earlier, you can adjust your texts so that they are proper. Now you can see that all these are actually fitting into the correct places. But for me, I believe that this one is a bit too small, so I'll just type SC for scale and we'll scale this out slightly with reference. I'll use a diagonal reference. There you go. Now what we will do is we'll insert the washroom block. Now I know that I said that this is going to be a 3-part video, but I believe this is going to be a 4-part video because I do not wish to make my videos any longer than 30 minutes as people start to lose interest. Now what I'm drawing here, it's actually a drainage line. It shows where water will be drained out from here. And you can change this color so that it looks like it has a P-trap inside there. Now we just match properties with the one above. These are the hidden lines. And there you go. Now as you can see that our floor plan is started to take its shape. We still have to do more additions here. So what we can do is start to bring in our dining areas and our lounge. So first I'll bring in the lounge and the TV cabinet and just use these whole blocks and place them there and set them up accordingly to the way that I wish to set it up. Now if you do not wish to set it up like that, what you can do is just draw a rectangle of where your setup is going to be and just move it out. Place it where you think is right, and then you can make your additions and deletions accordingly. And just paste them into your lounge area that you have selected. Like so. Now the next thing that we will place is the dining area. Just select all these, type G for group, then press enter. Just move it into its place. Here. And if the texts are actually disturbing you, Just move them out of the way slightly. I'll have to readjust the lounge area a little bit, especially these blocks. And you can also move these ones up. Now what I've done here is I've created a 400 mm gap between the inside of this wall and the TV cabinet, so that a person can go behind the TV and then they can close off the window from there. In the next video, I will explain to you how to actually set up and lay out your kitchen, and I'll also show you how to plot and publish your drawings. If you like the contents of this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any other comments, please let me know via comment. If you have any other questions, please let me know via comments. Thank you very much.